Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to our
Yeah.
fifth episode,
Mhm.
sixth episode. We're gonna let Jeff take this one tonight.
All right.
Jeff, introduce our guest here.
So tonight we have Michael Burkhardt from Cecil County Sasquatch. Mike has been researching these things since what, 2017, Mike?
Yeah,
And Mike is actually about an hour from me. He's not even that far.
yeah, 40
Right,
minutes, something
right
like that.
across the river. So I guess we'll just let Mike get started with how he got into this.
Okay. So yeah, my name's Mike Burkhardt. I'm from, well, not born in Cecil County, but raised in Cecil County. And I've always been interested in the Bigfoot subject, just dipping my toe in since I was a kid. I mean, Loch Ness Monster, anything weird, I loved it and was interested. But I never really thought the creatures would be in my backyard, literally. But when I moved to Northeast as an adult, I got a message from a forest ranger that I know personally. And he's like, listen, we got some weird stuff going on over here at this park. Could you come check it out? I don't know what to do with this stuff. Could you see if it's real or fake or whatever? And he messaged me personally. He didn't want everybody and their mother going down there. So I enlisted
Yeah.
two people to give me a hand once I saw what he pointed out. And even from the very first set of prints, they were about, I think they were 19 inches, 18 or 19-inch prints. The big toe was 4 inches. That's how big these feet were. And I believe I have its future cast here. But at the time, the prints were destroyed by the time I got there. You can only see partial, but there were
Yeah.
3 good tracks, right? And I met with the guy. This was near November. And I backtracked these 3 prints that the person who brought me in saw. And I found a tree snapped off about 7 feet up. Just looked like something just tore it right over, just snapped it. And I went, whoa. And I looked underneath and I saw big impressions, like exactly the set. So from the jump, I figured, well, nobody's going to fake these prints and go half a mile into the woods off trail to continue the hoax. Like I just didn't see that happening. So that got my curiosity. Um, got a hold of the BFRO to say, what do you, I'm no pro. I don't know what to do with this stuff. What do you want to do? And they're like, oh, well, we'll call you. And that never happened. I'm still waiting on that phone call. But I did get a hold of Cliff Berkman and I emailed him and he really likes them. I mean, the prints that I showed him, he was really interested in it. And that's about as far as that went. So I figured I was onto something. I might as well run with it. So I snuck into the park that month illegally and figured, okay, the stuff I've learned so far is that they're nocturnal. So I figured I'd go out there at night and see if I can hear, see anything. And this is so strange. So technically, this is the second time I went out there. There's snow on the ground, and I sneak in there, and it's way deep in there, and I'm like paranoid looking around, and I made it in there clean. I get out of my front seat. I have a 4-door Civic. I go to open the back door to get my flashlight, and I'm stuck. Like I can't move. I'm just like this, stuck in time. And I don't know how long I was sitting like this. I really don't know. It could have been 10 seconds. It could have been 5 minutes. I couldn't blink, couldn't move my eyes. I was just frozen in time. I'm like, and then I heard a woodpecker and it snapped me out of it. So then I just continued what I was doing and didn't even think about it. But anyway, I didn't find anything or say anything. But weeks later, I thought about that. I'm like, that's so weird. I've never had that happen before. And I didn't know what it was. I'm a rookie in the game. So I reached out to a few more people that have 50 plus years in this stuff. And they're like, oh, you got zapped or it used infrasound on you. That could have happened. I'm like, okay, well, that could have happened. And not long after that, I started finding, well, I was getting phone calls from the original guy, the original officer who pulled me in. And he was getting phone calls from just regular retired judges and retired cops and regular people that hike the trails, finding prints, all different sizes, everywhere back there. So he's like, hey, man, got more prints if you want to come meet me. And I would go and I would try to cast. And my first couple casts are just god awful. way too thin of a mixture. They just broke apart. So I have pictures of all that, but some really, really good prints. So I'm like, there's no way this is fake. I mean, I'm seeing dead deer carcasses near these prints. Like every time I find prints, there's a purpose, beginning or at the end.
Yeah.
So I enlisted those two other people that are both local. One's from the Baltimore area, JP, and he's on the Facebook group. And then my other buddy, Bob, he has a place one town over, but he works a lot. So it's hard to get everybody together. But we were getting permission to camp out there at night from the, I guess, who runs the park over there. He's like, okay, I'll give you exclusive access and you guys can check it out. But whatever you guys find, you got to make a deal with us. You know, don't be shooting guns back there or littering. And we're like, oh, it goes without saying. So we'll just say that's how we did it. And then he's like, you got to tell us what you find. I'm like, that's interesting. You only get permission if you tell us what you find, kind of deal. So but whatever. So after we started to find stuff on our own, it was like, holy smokes, we're onto something. So I lived, well, right now in the same town as me. I'm in Northeast Maryland, and the park is only 10 minutes up the road.
Yeah.
And it's a public place. Anybody can go. But I don't advertise it because I don't want everybody and their mother going back there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it might ruin it. Maybe it already did ruin it because the activity's gone way down. I don't know if it's seasonal. I mean, they used to come around a lot, like clockwork. I would know. I'd be like, oh, I guarantee you they're back there. And I'd go and I'd see prints. But anyway.
Could have made a move.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, I'll tell you something else that's interesting. There was a Black Hawk type helicopter the third time I ever went out there. And it was literally smacking the trees above me. And it was right over my head. I'm like, why the hell is that happening? There's no way I'm that lucky or I'm that important. And this happened 4 more times. It's like every time I go out into the woods, there was this low flying chopper.
Ha. There we go. I'm back.
I'm
back. Hey.
Should we start over?
Mike, no, I've been listening to you. I've been listening to you. It's nice to meet you, Michael, and I really appreciate you coming on. Jeff's talked a lot about you for the last month and a half or so since he really got to talk to you.
However long since I found out about him. I'm like, how is there anybody near us that has this much?
It's crazy. I can't believe it. Like the stuff I found, it's not just me finding it. You know what I mean? Because I got partners that have found stuff. I've got some random guy. Where did I meet this guy? Oh, he's my other buddy's friend. He and his wife go hiking back there at the opposite end of the park where we never even thought to look. And he found that same exact big print right there. I mean, going all the way up the creek for a mile. And it was frozen ground. I mean, this thing was punching through frozen sand, through ice. And it was like, man, that can't be fake.
Yeah, that's like when I found that one in Western Maryland. I mean, it wasn't a very good defined track, but you're looking at something that's putting an indentation in the ground that's
like a hydraulic press kind of weight.
Yeah, it looked like, something weighed as much as an Angus steer was stepping on that thing.
Right. That's what it looks like. These heels the heel impressions are what I see first. And I think, okay, well, people take horses out here. Maybe it's just a horseshoe print. And then I look at the other end and then you'll see toes most of the time. But I just look for, I've found so much stuff. It's crazy. Like I've had a double sighting at one time. That really set it in stone because in my mind, I was a sponge when all this hit me in 2017. So I'm just taking in everything from everybody, the hoaxers, the quote, real people, the podcasters, witnesses and all, the woo side, the scientific side, the animal side, the Nephilim. I'm just taking it all. And I'm just trying to process all this and make my own opinion. And I'm still no closer. I'm not. I've seen 2 of these things for sure. They were nothing else. When I explain my sighting to you, you would just say like, wow, that's what doesn't have a tail. And their back is as high as a propane tank in a yard. Like,
yeah.
And freaky fast. Deer are fast. Land animals like wolves and coyotes are fast, but this was different. This was like,
scary.
It's gone. If China made a robot Bigfoot, two of them were in lockstep, and they ran right by me by 30 feet. But so I start going out with my group. And you know, it's interesting. The very first time I take these guys out, this is the first time I ever took anybody out besides the officer guy. So I'm like, all right, well, you know, I'll just show them the ropes and show them where I'm at, show them where this stuff's happening. And so we walk up this. So it's like an old, what do you want to call that? Like an old sandy type road where it's like rock. It's like crush and run, but there's a lot of loose clayish sand.
Yeah.
So pretty easy to leave an impression, especially that time of year. The thaw had just happened. I'd already had the first set of prints and a couple more reports about the other. So I'm like, I need some help. I can't be out here every day. So I get these other guys out for their opinion, and they're digging the whole subject and stuff. So this is the very first time we went out. We walked this abandoned road where the trail starts, and they were clean as a whistle. Maybe one or two human prints from the morning, people walking their dogs, but that was it. The perfectly clean road. We bopped around the woods, and I showed them all my areas and stuff. And then by the time we returned, that road had hundreds of tracks on it, 5, 6 different sizes. It just hit us like a ton of bricks. We just came back out, and they were just cluttered. Looked like they were just running back and forth. It was insane. So that was the very first big deal incident, and I recorded all that. As a matter of fact, a lot of the prints didn't survive because they'd been in this box getting kicked around my apartment for, I don't know, however long it's been, since 2017. But I'll show you guys a couple of them.
There's some pretty impressive casts there, I see, up on the shelf there.
Those are the Megatrons. These are the best ones I have with the most definition, and it came out the best. And then, so I'll give you an example. See this one here? This big one is 19 inches or 20 inches. I think we'll call it 20. And then this one up here is 16 inches. And I think this is from the female. I think that's from a female because these two hang out. So these two, so it was this one. Then there was a 14-inch trackway, a 12-inch trackway, which is here. I casted this along with the other cluster. And that's the same size as my foot, but it's 2 inches wider, top and bottom, this way.
Okay.
I have this should be a size 12 foot, but there ain't no way you better get the wide version. There's no way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So these are all Cecil County taken then. I don't need specific areas, but all Cecil County then.
Yep. One of the parks. That's right. One of the public. And there's a shooting range there too, so you got to be careful.
Yes.
But you could see definition like fingerprints in these tracks. I don't know if I can get them close enough, but you got.
Yes, you can see them.
Yeah. So I mean, well, who the hell is going to make fake casts with fingerprints? That's
right. Right.
You know. And then here's a cast I did in 2019, and it's the same as this one, but taken 2 years apart. Let me show you the front. So if you can see here, that's the same foot. And these were taken, let's see, opposite parts of the park. And this one has got so much toe definition because it's stepped into a loose mud bank up a cliff.
Yeah, like it was climbing up.
Yep. And you can see a handprint. He busted a 12-foot or a 12-inch fallen tree in half when he stepped on it. Yeah. I mean, all this is documented.
Now, is that the 16-inch?
This is the 16, yes.
Okay.
So that's 16. This is 16. Oh, and that one is the 18. I'm going to say 18 because it's usually the 18, but it measures different. So if he gets a real good heel stomp, it looks like a 20. But if it's like a partial heel print, it's an 18 to me. So I can't, there's no difference. But, yeah.
I would be scared to death to set them like that.
Yeah, if you guys saw them, you saw them. I won't risk it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to repair a plastic.
I'd hate for him to hit the floor.
And then this one.
Very nice cast.
Yeah. How many different sizes do you have, Mike?
I got 18, 16, 12, and a 7. and they're all hanging out together. So it's a family.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's so consistent
Yes.
every time. Let me put this back. Yeah, all the little ones are in the other box, all busted up. So I won't even try to show those off. But you could see some really good toe definition.
That's freaking awesome.
Now, when was the last time you were out there?
That's a good question. I could look at my phone pictures. Here's a little one from the 7-inch.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see just the toes, the foot. This was a stick. It looks like there's like, you know, something here, but that's just a stick that was in the. But last time I went out there was about 3 weeks ago, and I found a print, but I didn't have any casting material to do it.
And that was the only track that you found? That was the only one you found?
Yeah. Yep. By itself. It looked like it jumped off the creek bank, hit the sand, and then just finished up the other side. But it wasn't pervy to leave indents. Both sides of the bank were just, you know, regular hard packed woods earth. But I got a picture of it, I think, but it's on the phone I'm talking to you with.
You know, it's great. It always struck me as odd, even thinking about this state, until I started hearing stuff the last couple of years.
And I've got a lot of reports. As a matter of fact, the guy who introduced me to the whole thing, we'll call him Dave, his partner is getting ready to retire, and he had a full-blown sighting. Saw one about, like, he was just, like, part of his job is to creep around that area and just keep an eye out for, you know, druggies or whatever, poachers. You know, that's his job. He's doing his rounds just, you know, like every day. And almost at the end of the strip, he sees something walk out of the wood line. And he sees this thing side profile as it's about to step into the street. And he's just looking up and up and up and up and up. And he's probably 100, maybe a little bit less than 100 yards, or we'll call it 70 yards from this thing. And it's not dark yet, but it's getting to be dusk. And I hear about, I'm leaving Walmart, and he calls me with this. And I'm like, holy smoke. So I jump in the car and I run down there, and he described it to me that, oh, when he saw this creature step out into the street, the creature turned his head to look at the truck coming. And then by the time he blinked his eyes looking at the creature, it did a full spin where it was standing and shot back into the wood line, was gone in a flash. So I went out there and saw exactly where he was talking about. Took me a while to find it, and damned if I didn't find footprints that spun in place. You could literally see where the feet were staggered, where he was stepping, just like he said, half in the road, half out, and he spins in its own feet, spins where it was standing. You can see the toes just like swirl, and then you see busted branches in the opposite direction, like the direction it came from. So that thing literally spun his feet and bolted. So that guy didn't want to come out publicly or anything about it, because he's getting ready to retire. He doesn't need the hassle.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be doing that.
And I'm the only one that cares, so they told him to tell me, and now everybody knows. So that's good enough for him. But
yeah,
if you want, I'll tell you that time we all found footprints together when we were leaving the park.
All right.
We followed where the tracks went, and it went to a hand-woven nest behind a big oak tree.
Yeah,
like
you sent me I think you sent me that.
Yeah, so like the evidence I find is led to me from the tracks. It's not like, you know, so everything that I found is just snowball evidence. So it's stuff that just piles up, and I document it, and if anybody cares, I'll tell them. But I mean, I've pretty much done everything there is. Like my sighting, I'll get into that real quick. Before I had my sighting, I was just casting prints. I might have heard a scream here or there by myself, just doing my rounds out there. But you never know with that stuff. But I was getting reports from the original guy who got me in about there's a dump connected to this property, and the people at the dump kept complaining about their corrugated fence, their what kind of fence is that? Just like regular chain link,
Chain link.
ripping it up. Something just pulling their fence up to get underneath of it, and it looked like 3 foot gap between two giant bear paws, just ripping up their fence, and no tire marks. They've never seen anybody break in there, but they're like, what the hell? Our fence keeps getting ripped up and we don't know why. And that's the exact direction I find prints, which is interesting. They're going that way and they're coming back from that way. And so anyway, that happens. I get that story. And ex-girlfriend of mine gave me a story where she was going to nursing school at the time, and I'm not sure what year it was, but it had to be 2007, 2006 maybe, because she was in college or school. And she was on, well, I'll just say a close road connected to that park. And she saw, just like the forest ranger saw, one came right out in the street, and within 3 steps he was from the wood line over the street into the next wood line in a flash. She could not believe what she saw. She said it messed her up big time. And she told me, she's like, you're into this weird stuff, right? You and Dave? I'm like, yeah, because he's friends with her too. And she's like, I'll tell you what happened, but I don't know what it was. I'm like, well, you can tell me. She tells me, and I'm like, I don't know what else that could be. 8-foot hairy man beast. Jury's out, but I have my guesses. So, I mean, listen, there's so much. And so the first time we went to investigate that sighting after she told me that, this is probably almost 20 years later. That's a long time. Yeah. And damned if I didn't find a tree structure right in that direction from the road to where the trail starts. There was something stacked up, all these limbs just made like a giant hut up against this giant oak tree. Yeah. Just like I found, blind. And so my partner, he's really sensitive with stuff. He's going to take a picture of me standing next to this blind, and he freaks out. He takes the picture, but he jumps back, and he's a wreck, and he's like, whoa, and he's real freaked out. I'm like, what's going on, man? Like, what happened? He's like, dude, I don't know. Something just shot right through me. I saw it through the camera. I took the picture, and then he looks at the picture, and he's like, holy smokes, look at this. And I have this picture. It's quite interesting. It looks like a ball of light, just like tracing right towards his face, like right towards where the camera ends. And I'm like, what are the chances of something like that? And he had nightmares and everything else. He said he dreamed about Bigfoot that night. And I've had dreams like that too. When I had my sighting, I dreamed about a juvenile Sasquatch just tossing me around like a rag doll. And it was so real. It felt really real.
For months.
Well, come on, Mike. It's a Maryland Sasquatch. Can't be that man.
Yeah.
For months.
He just wants crabs like the rest of us.
Hey, it probably votes for the other side. We won't get into that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He just wants to help everybody.
Yeah.
He's sending money to the dog man.
Yeah.
Just gotta help him off the sandbar a couple times. That's
Yeah. So I get to my sighting. Well, I still got a couple more.
Yeah, you keep going.
Corresponding issues, build-ups to my sighting. So at this point, so after we saw the big group of footprints and stuff, we were like, well, shoot, this is the freaking Bigfoot highway. We hit the jackpot. Easy money. We buy a couple trail cams. We set them up on this strip of land. We watch them walk down the trail, and we got the whole fam. Case closed. And we were like, oh, that's a sealed, shut, closed case there.
Real easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna solve this thing in a week. So I climb up the littlest tree because I'm only $150, and it takes a little guy to climb up a tree this size without breaking it. Or I just figured it'd be a good spot. So I climbed 30 feet up in this tree. I put it up there. So, and it was tucked. I mean, if you weren't looking for this thing, we painted it and everything else. If you weren't looking for this thing, you would have never found it. And so we set up, I think, 2 trail cameras, one on the ground facing one way, one up in the tree facing the other way. So I'm out there and I'm checking to make sure, and they're gone within a week. Both trail cameras are gone. Like, what the heck? And no bits or pieces. There's no, there's nothing. So I'm like, okay, they're just missing. Maybe somebody saw them, or a hunter saw them, or kids. I don't know. There's just no telling. But how the hell would somebody get up that tree that I was the only person who could climb that thing? Anyway.
Oh, they sent somebody up there to get it.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird. But like I said, I have a relationship with the park people, and I asked them, and they're like, we only take trail cams if they're out after season. So if like it's hunting season, which it wasn't, they would take them out. But they didn't say they took trail cams or anything. They're like, no, we didn't take any trail cams. And they're like, as a matter of fact, we haven't even been up that way because it's not our sector for this whatever time of month. So the maintenance guys didn't do it. The management said they don't know anything about it. So I don't know. The only people I've encountered back there when I search is like regulars. Like there's this older gentleman with a big beard and 2 giant dogs. I see him maybe every 10 times I go, and hey, how's it going? I don't tell him what I'm doing. I just tell him I'm bird watching because I don't want to, fire all that up.
Yeah.
But there's also a couple dirt bikers that go back there, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And we find Mylar balloons every time we go out there. That's an interesting one. If you guys see Mylar balloons and found a foam coffee cup with a giant mouth bite out of the side of it, that was interesting. A lot of tree breaks at 6 feet up to 8 feet. We had trees pushed over on camera when we were camping out there. Like this thing was 50 feet from us, a live, thick tree, just boom.
Or there's a bug floating around in here.
Took the beagle on him.
Yeah. The beagle's not, I don't know where he's hiding at.
I had that happen to me last week at a camp.
Really?
In this county, yeah.
Tree push?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a tree push, but there was no wind.
Right.
And a tree just decided to fall.
Yeah, I've had 2 of those. I had that one when we were all together, and then that same area when I went by myself after work, daylight, it was like almost 5:30, and just same thing, boom. But I was like a hound on that. As soon as I heard that tree fall, I went running into the wood, like right towards it. I'm like, I was determined to find these things, and I was hooting and hollering, and I was trying everything the show said, but that never got me anywhere. The best way to catch something is be where they've been and get lucky.
That's right.
That's what happened with me, because all that like every time I went out there, I would try to get a call back. Never happened. Nothing like that. But the one time I went out there and I was just patient, I had the day off, so I just went there. It was like, I don't know, 2 o'clock, 2:30, and it's like a Wednesday, and it was a Friday because I had to work that Saturday, and I do maintenance, so it's no big deal. I was just checking it out like I always do. I like hit these specific spots where I know there's been like the footprints. I'll just check them. Yeah. And and this is my sighting. So I'm standing there and I'm really close to the entrance. I mean, this is where people, like, maybe 1,000 yards away is where you park. It's the main thing and everything. And I'm not thinking I'm going to find anything. I'm just sort of out there and seeing what I see and listening to what I'm listening to. And I hear a couple gunshots from the shooting range in the distance. So I'm a little focused on that, but not. And I'm just sort of open to my environment. And I'm sort of at a triple point. I'm at a left and right stretch where the entrance takes you loop around where I'm standing, and then you can go behind. You can take a right and go where I parked, and that will give you another area. And then it goes all the way deep into the backside. But this is the spot where I found a lot of prints. So I'm standing there and I hear, and it got my attention, but it didn't grab me. It just got my attention. So I just start honing in on it. And I'm like, huh, that's kind of weird. And then I hear a higher pitch. And I just think maybe it's a couple kids running from their pops or whatever. And maybe this guy's calling his dogs, or I'm being reasonable. I'm not thinking Bigfoot at all. And it gets closer. Now I'm like, oh, I'm about to see this guy yell at his kids. Like, he's going to come around this corner any minute, or I'm going to see dogs. So that's what's in my brain. And I'm just standing there, not making a sound. I'm not moving. and then it's quiet. I don't hear anything coming up. I don't hear any more of that vocalization. And then out of my periphery on my left side, I see something break the tree line on all fours. So I turn to look, and by the time, these things are so freaky fast. So imagine all this happening in milliseconds, just a snap. So these things break the tree. The first thing breaks it, and it's a salt and pepper on all fours creature. And there's no ears, like there's no tail, but it's stocky like a bull. So I'm like, what the hell is that? And as I'm looking and trying to
all fours.
It's on all fours. And as I'm trying to process the first one, he's already almost into the other side. And this is 12 feet in between these trails. I mean, it's a good gap. And I didn't even hear it come up. So he breaks the tree line. I'm following the first one. And as my eyes are tracking the first one, and his head dips out into the forest wall, like down to the other tree line, I see the back one. And it's a champagne orange color. But its head is behind the right side of the hip of the first one. So the back hip of the creature, his head was behind it, and they were in lockstep. So I couldn't get real good face definition, but I knew they didn't have ears because I saw their rounded heads, both of them. And then I saw their backs that were flat, and they were moving like a mixture between like a, not like a lope, but like a spider crawl with like a man, I guess, or like I don't even know. But it was so fast. So as I'm turning to look and sync up my peripheral to my lock-on vision, that second one and the first one break the tree line, and they stop right behind where they went in. I can't see them. They can't see me, but they know I'm here. So we're having a standoff, and I'm trying to process what I just saw. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, these are probably just the dogs this guy was just yelling for. Not realizing, not realizing how big they really were in that moment. You know, like I didn't comprehend how big they were in the moment. So I'm having a standoff, and then it clicks because nobody comes around the corner. I'm like, huh, the guy never came, but they haven't moved either. So I know they're right there. So I'm like, holy S, this could be it. So then it clicks, like maybe this is it. So I wanted to get a reaction. I didn't want to just charge in there, but I wanted to get their a reaction. So I just sort of, I still haven't even moved, but I turn and I'm still looking at that direction. Then I stomp with a slide and I huff at them, and then boom, crash, smash. Like they start tearing shit up, and they're like trying to scare me. They're like, they were dead quiet all the way up until that point. They could have had my head on a skewer at that point, and they just stopped, and they made all that racket leaving. And then it clicked in my head, like, this has got to be it. So I went booking it to that back trail where I parked. I knew I could cut them off because the main highway's right there, and they either got to cross the road or keep parallel with me. But I didn't see or hear anything after that. So I called my buddy from Baltimore, told him what had happened, and he's like, well, I'll come up tonight. And he shows up. Maybe it was a couple of days later. I don't know. So he comes down, and I'm like, I want to do a size comparison just to see how big they were. And he's about 6'2". He's a big dude, and he gets down on all fours, and he looked like a baby. I mean, my heart dropped, and my arms got.
You start realizing how big they are, yeah.
Oh,
welcome to the club,
dude. I'm like, that thing could have smashed me. Two of them. And he just, I mean, if they confronted me, I'd go into the fetal position, probably puke, pee, and crap all at the same time. But that's my sighting. And these things were their backs. Like I said, you could probably equate it to a back of an average pickup, like the tailgate of a pickup truck. I mean, what the hell is out there besides deer? And I know what a deer looks like.
Right.
I don't know what else they could. They weren't dogs. They weren't, they weren't souped up hellhounds. I mean, there were no tails.
Yeah.
They weren't cows. They weren't bulls. They weren't foxes. They weren't. There was nothing else they could have been. I mean, I'm dead set what I saw. But yeah,
your eyes don't lie. Right.
Yeah, and like I got zapped. I started putting all this together, and I went on a podcast. I don't know if you guys know who this is. Creek Devil podcast.
Oh,
Will Jeffrey. That was the very first one I ever did because I'm like, this guy's been in the game forever.
You know what? I might have heard that one.
You heard that one?
That was me. I did.
I've been on there twice now,
Because I remember hearing one from Maryland, but I couldn't remember who it was.
Yeah, and I was, I didn't, I wasn't pulling any punches about the location. I want people to know what's happening. So
when I heard where they said it was, I was like, wait a minute.
It shocked a lot of people. Yeah.
Close to home.
Where is that again?
And once I had my sighting, it became real to me. It really did. I mean, obviously, I believe the evidence is not faked because of how I found it and the circumstances of all that and witnesses and other people and whatever. But to see it yourself is different. And it really makes it, it puts it in perspective when you're going out there too. Because like you see a foot that big coming up, when you come up on a foot that big and you think about the rest of that damn thing, it's intimidating.
So we got a question here, Mike, from our friend in Australia. River wants to know if you ever heard you ever smelled any.
100%. 100%. So, oh God, this was, I think our first, or I think it was our second outing. We went and checked the other side of the park, and we were getting chicken skin just like I had before. And out of nowhere, that's not like we heard something or saw something. We didn't see any evidence. We were just looking at possible tree structures and stuff. And then, bam, a big wall of stink just hit us. Like you could walk in and out of it. It was really unique. Wow. And I'm like, that can't be nothing. Because, a skunk is going to fill that area. And you're not going to technically walk in and out of it. And it just vanished that quick, same area. Because we were interested in the smell. We're like, hey, man, check this out. Walking in, walking out, walking in, walking out. And within seconds, it was gone completely. We would walk 20 feet into it, 20 feet back out, and didn't smell nothing. So, yeah, I think I've smelled wet dog. I think I have a possible dogman encounter out there, too. But I could be wrong. It could have been pareidolia because it was pretty deep.
You mentioned that to me before.
And I got a picture of it. I think it was on my old work phone, but I could probably dig through the, cloud or whatever and pull it up. But it wasn't very, I knew what I was looking at live, but when you see the picture, it's kind of like, eh.
I don't know if you remember this, but I told you we've got some reports from around here about that.
Yeah.
And one out near Edgewood. One's only about 4 miles as the crow flies from here.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of satanic connections with the dog man, like some evil. This is just my thing, but people think they smell like sulfur. They're evil. They just want to project fear out of you and then suck that up, and they get off on that. Bigfoot just want to be left alone. Maybe they'll eat your peanut butter, but they're not trying to intimidate you all the time. I've never.
I don't know about that one.
I'm just saying. What's your opinion on the mentality of a Bigfoot versus a dog man? What are the average encounters? For me personally, I've never encountered a dog man besides maybe seeing one, deep in the woods and maybe getting a picture, but it didn't move a muscle. That's what made me think it wasn't a real creature. But I walked up there and it was not there. So whatever it was moved off, and I went back to that same spot where I saw it with the same angle, and it just wasn't there. So I'm like, maybe that was something. It was a dog. It looked like a giant Doberman out there just peeking at me through all the holes in the woods. And I just caught him. I'm like, that's interesting. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
We've had some friends who've gotten some pictures of stuff that looks like a Doberman's head or a pit bull's head.
Yeah.
Yep. Just looking at you and that is not something I like to think about.
No.
Heck no.
I'd rather stick with Sasquatch.
a friend of mine was turkey hunting in that same area, and he said he saw a bear stand up. Yeah, he saw a bear stand up and run about 50 miles an hour away from him. I'm like, I've never heard of a bear running at all.
That bears don't run on their
They do this. They're weeble wobbles.
Right.
15, 20 yards if you're lucky.
Yeah, they're not Usain Bolt, 800 pounds.
Usain Bolt black bear.
Right.
Yeah.
The only black bear I've ever seen that walked on its hind legs all the time was that one that they called Pedals in Jersey that something had happened to its front legs and it couldn't do anything without walking on its hind legs.
Yeah, he had to walk on his hind legs.
Yeah, like I know people who could walk on their hands like normal people, but I cannot do that. It's a specialty for
Well,
maybe just that creature.
What you just brought up about seeing them on all fours.
Yeah.
No one ever believed that they ran on all fours until the Outlaws brought that up.
Wes said he saw one on all fours too.
Yeah,
I believe.
that was Wes Germer. He saw them on all fours, but for the longest time, all the Orthodox people said no, they don't do that.
All the knowers.
Yeah.
All the experts.
Everybody's an expert, right?
Dude, I got just as much evidence as all these people out here that have been doing it forever, and I don't even think I'm close. I'll be honest. Yeah. I don't.
And I start to wonder how many people actually saw one on all fours and thought it was a bear or something from a distance, just in that split
right
time they saw it, because
my wife saw one. She swore to God she thought it was and she does not play with this stuff. She would not lie about this. She's a straight shooter and everything, and she's a type A personality, and I'm the farting in bathtubs and laughing. And she was driving us to the Poconos with my 13-year-old, and she's like, "Oh my God, did you see that?" And I mean, we're talking western, like really hilly stuff. I mean, that's prime territory. And this is before I even, well, maybe I don't think this was before 2017. So this is even before
before you even started looking for them.
Right. But I was interested in the subject. So she's like, "Oh my God, I just saw something get up off all fours and run up this cliff thing. Like they was eating something off the road, like a dead deer probably hit by a car." And then she's like, "I swear to God, I saw it stand up and run off into the." I'm like, "You probably did. I believe you."
Were you on Route 84?
I couldn't, dude. She was driving. I don't even know my way to Walmart if I don't have my GPS.
I was about to say, if you were on 84, then yeah, there's a bunch of dead deer.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, the roads are so gnarly and whippy. I mean, I have a hair sample I wanted to show you guys if I could find the darn thing.
Just watch, the government will call it Angus.
That's a true story. Very true story.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Update from the house. I have stuff throwing things at me now.
Oh no. You're getting fooled with, buddy.
When I'm at home, it's not only tapping on the windows and taking stuff
out
of the kids' toy boxes.
And stuff sitting on top of his truck. It's interesting.
So when I first, oh sorry, go ahead.
Now there's stuff throwing things at me, such as rocks, acorns, and like trees and sticks and stuff in the middle of the night when I take the trash out.
That's impressive. I wish I could have that. I've never had anything. Well, I guess
when I'm home. When I'm home.
You got a wood line up to the property?
No, open cornfields.
Oh my God. Can you imagine the arm on that sumbitch?
They're really, I think they're just slipping up there to the backyard and messing with them, if that's what's going on.
Probably.
So it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to see this hair sample. It's just a dingleberry on a leaf. And it's really fine. Like, I think this was a crib for a baby. Let me get a good backing. So you can see it on the stem there.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
That changes colors in the sunlight.
No doubt. Okay.
It turns translucent, almost like it's see-through. But in night, you can see how dark and brownish it is.
Uh-huh.
This is some unique hair, man. And I got a hold of Melba Ketchum. I sent her a little picture of it. Really good close-up. And she's like, "Well, I don't know. It looks a bit fine. I doubt that's Bigfoot hair." I'm like, "Well, I have a hair sample with probably thousands of hairs if you want one."
And you can tell there's a good little clump of them in there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I hope I'm not ruining it by keeping it in this bag. But, I mean,
Speaking of black ops, they're flying over here now.
I'm telling you, it's wild. I don't know why they care. Like, why do you give a shit? I'm already a rat. I'm telling these people what I'm finding. Well, I was. And then when I quit telling them what I was finding, they didn't give me permission anymore. Can't get a hold of the guy. So,
Wow.
yeah. And I'm like, well, maybe he transferred. Dave's like, no, he didn't transfer. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Kind of hurt my feelings.
Funny how that happens, right?
Yeah. Well, and I had a sighting, but he don't know that.
So do you still go? Do you still go there then?
Yeah, I still go there, and I don't. So they nailed my ass last time, like a year ago, before I had my license redone because I didn't realize it expired. And a park ranger, a park ranger saw my car parked where I always park, but it's sort of tucked. Like if if you don't know what you're looking at, you'll drive right by my car. Like no matter what time of night, you're not going to see me park back there. But if you know what you're looking at, that must be his parking spot to do radar and whatever. And he pulls. I see the cherries and the blues through the freaking woods. I'm like, damn it! It's like 8:30. He's got me dead to rights. I got to go out to my car. I just got to face this guy. So I turn on the charm. I come waltzing out there. Oh, thank God you're here, man. I got mixed up back there at dusk, and I just wasn't sure where I was at. And thanks to your lights, I got out. So thank you so much. And I hit him with all the good stuff. And he's pretty laid back. He's just like, you can't be out here. And I'm like, oh, I know the rules. I've been back here since this date because I've been looking for this, and I work with these people. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, I got a story for you. I'm like, oh, I'm in the money.
Oh man, perfect.
He still took me to jail. No, he didn't. He didn't. He was cool. No, he told me that he was parked on radar just like any other time. Or was it him? Yeah, it was him. And he heard he was getting circled by a bunch of owls. He's like, it's nice and it's crispy out there. So I got all my windows down and I'm chilling and I'm shooting radar and could have got that guy. Could have got that guy.
And then he shoot radar at night.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's what he said. So, and he's like, off to my left, not very far into the woods. I hear like woo, 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 woo. And then off to the right, same distance, woo, 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 woo. And then in front of him, he hears woo, 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 woo. And then it changes in pitch, and it's not. He's like, it was not consistent. I've never heard an owl that is not consistent. Usually, I could do the perfect owl sound with my and he's like, this thing was like, ugh, like voice cracking. He's like, I'm like, dude, that
pretty obvious.
Yeah, I'm like, that sounds legit. And once I told him what I had going on and what I've been doing, he's like, oh wow, that's amazing. I didn't even know. I'm like, I doubt you didn't know, but sure. Like I'm sure somebody's hit one with a car in Cecil County, and
there's no way that it hasn't happened.
They hit an Angus.
And then you probably see the black.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, you hit an Angus. Or you just hit a protected bear.
Yeah. They hit a black Angus like a mile from my farm back in what was that, the 70s, Gary?
Over here at the Rock State Park.
Which is right behind me.
Mid 70s.
I sent you the picture of Dave.
It's mid 70s. Supposedly a Bigfoot was hit by a car on 24 through rocks. It's kind of twisty and windy. Yeah. So you can't go too fast. You can if you're a lunatic. But so it hit and there was some hair left, obviously where the fender crunched with the bumper. And they had the hair analyzed. And of course, it came out to be Black Angus cow.
So, oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, Mike, if you that picture that I sent you, that ridge line, it runs right to that.
No kidding. I'm telling you, like, anybody who knows anything about Bigfoot, they're hot on power lines.
And the park is right there. I mean, it's right.
I mean, that's prime for picking turkey, deer.
Have you ever been to Rocks?
I have not. Okay. I haven't even been to Susquehanna State Park.
That's where Jerry was the other last
That's
week.
where I was at last week, and I'll talk to you later about that, Michael.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm still just stuck to my own area because I know it's a proven spot and I always find stuff. Yeah. So it's like I did go to, where did I go? So my Baltimore buddy had a line on a guy named Matt, and it was a bust. I didn't see anything, but they swore they saw tree structures and stuff, but I forget where that was. maybe Waldorf or somewhere, but
Waldorf. Oh shit.
Well,
yeah,
there's areas back in there. You get off the main roads down and around Anne Arundel County and further south. Yeah, yeah.
almost by the
There's actually a guy down there that was doing some stuff for a while.
yeah.
On both sides of the shore, on both sides of the Chesapeake. But I haven't seen much from him lately, so I don't know. Maybe he gave it up or whatever.
Was that
Almost
Yeah.
near Budge Creek.
was that the guy we talked
Yes.
about the other day, Jerry?
It could have been. I don't remember. I have a lot of
The one
conversations.
that just kind of dropped off the face of the planet.
Dang it.
Yeah, he was doing stuff, and but maybe a year and a half ago he started, I guess, and he was like daily just doing little stuff, going along creeks and finding some stuff. But I quit following him after about 6 months, but I kept seeing the stuff come up on YouTube, and I don't see him anymore. So
My buddy JP went out with Dave Thundercloud a few times, and they got harassed by government employees. And we're told not to enter this area because, this, that, and the other. I'm like, holy smokes.
Was that out in Western Maryland?
No, Baltimore, I think. Maybe
Really?
Baltimore? I'll have to ask him. Baltimore, or because JP also went to Fred, what's that guy's name? He's a West Virginia guy. Fred Kearney, or
yeah, I can't think of his last name.
anyway, he had a big jamboree out there, and my JP went out there and camped out and saw what he had going on and stuff. And maybe it was around that area because he stayed the weekend, but it could have been Baltimore. I don't know. But
Well,
yeah,
I'd say there's a lot of activity and reports over the years down in the gunpowder.
Well,
I've got
at least one report from the gunpowder. So
yeah,
PA.
there's several.
I used to date a girl in Coatesville, for the last 7 months, but I've heard a lot of stuff up there. I met a guy on Facebook Marketplace. I think I was hitting him up for car sound equipment, and he just was like, "Hey, I saw you got some Bigfoot stuff. What do you think?" I'm like, and we, told him the whole spiel, and he's like, "No way, there's been sightings out here." And so PA, Coatesville, and that area, Lancaster, Amishville. I mean,
yeah, that's where.
why wouldn't you pick on Amish people if you were a Bigfoot? Who are they going to call?
Right.
They don't talk about it.
They'll get on the cup and string and call the law.
They don't talk about it. They don't call law. If you ask them about it, they just walk away, stop.
They got the best crops.
And they don't talk about it. I mean, they'll go a mile out of their way not to talk to you. If you see them out in public, they look away. And
yeah. I'm in luxury apartment maintenance, so I fix appliances and get apartments ready for turnaround if somebody moves out. I've been doing this 9 years, and I'm in Newark, Delaware now. But I was thinking about giving it up and becoming a long road truck driver just to hear some stories, man.
That's what Ted does.
I could see he's either got a badass man cave or that's a over the road hot rod.
Yeah,
that's over the road.
That's over the road hot rod.
Both.
I appreciate what you do, man.
Thank you.
I treat truckers like I do military. I say thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yep.
For real.
It's a lot of hours.
Underappreciated
Indiana today,
gig.
Georgia tomorrow.
I did some trucking back in 2010 to 2011, I think. But it was just the full size Penske with the air ride seat, 13-foot high, the big box trucks.
Oh.
And that was delivering flowers to the Home Depots from all the way to Smyrna to the Dover beaches, and then all the ways north is New Jersey to PA, like Upper Darby, almost to New York. I mean, it was just a day trade. So we would get there at 5 and then we'd quit running at 6 or 7. Made a lot of money, but I was beat the hell up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of hours.
I left the eastern side of Chicago this morning. I'm sitting in Duncannon, PA, which is right near Mifflintown, PA, and then I'm heading down to Lancaster and going to Georgia tomorrow.
Good God.
Yep.
I mean, I got ADD and I'm 38 years old. I don't think I'm going to grow out of it. I realized I wasn't a trucker. Like, I couldn't focus for that long. I tried. I'm pulling over, falling asleep.
I do that just driving farm machinery. What are you talking about?
I live for this. This is what I do.
But listen, you're your own boss pretty much. You don't got to listen to a bunch of BS drama at work. You're not, I appreciate it, man. But you got to deal with a lot of dicks out there. I respect every big truck that I come in contact with. Like, oh, you got to get over here. I'll brake, let you get over, and then I'll pass you. It's not a big deal. People are dicks out there.
Yep.
Mine's 85 foot long on the average. Truck and trailer, 85 foot, 90 foot long on the average.
That's a serious rig. Not to mention, you get harassed by Dot constantly.
Yep.
That's just rude. I mean, listen, I respect the fact that you got to have, working equipment and all that sort of stuff, but I mean, it's like every city you hit, you can get picked on for no good reason.
Well, they do that with the farm machinery around here, especially guys hauling corn and stuff. It's
picking on those guys.
Oh yeah, harvest season. DOT's always sitting on Whiteford Hill.
It's rude,
They're
man.
always sitting somewhere.
Just let them do their thing. They don't. What happened to due process? Is there something wrong with it, or are you looking for something?
I'm surprised they don't sit there by Mom and Pa and wait for them to come in there.
I'll give you a good example. The guy was in a scale house this week, and he's inside getting his paperwork checked out, and there's a guy at a switchboard switching all the signs over, and the one cop goes, pull that guy in and check him in the back, and the guy's not even in the weigh station yet.
I got rights, man. I'm not a big Constitution guy, but I do appreciate rights. I really do. Same with on the road. Record every encounter. Be respectful, because law enforcement is a hard freaking job. I would beat the crap out of every domestic abuser I run into. I don't have the patience. I could never be a cop.
Yeah, I'd end up kneecapping somebody.
Right. Flicking me off, throwing stuff at me, telling me eat a donut, pig. I just can't. I guess I got
my life.
You become a punching bag.
Yeah. You become a truck driver. You'll live that.
Oh, I can't. Like, I need my peace, and I need to be away from people if I can.
Well,
First person that pissed me off, I'd probably mace them.
It sounds really weird, but this is my piece.
Well, there you go. I mean, I dig that. You got a mobile home. That's a rolling trailer.
I get to be left alone, and I get to do what I want,
Mark.
pretty much.
Hi, Mark.
Mr. Green's in chat.
Mark
Some
Green.
of the stuff we do is kind of stressful, but
Cedar Creek Bottoms. Yep.
Is he an investigator, Mark Green? Or
he does a lot of work down in Alabama.
I think I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would love to hit southern states. Like, I went across the country. I've been to Jamaica for my best friend's wedding, but I went to California when he got out of the Air Force, and we drove across country, just two buds checking out the Americas. And I tried to shoot a couple hoots and hollers while I was in Northern California, but I didn't get any hits. Took a lot of pictures, went through all the pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I would like that to branch out and check some other areas. I'm happy. Listen, you all want to come up? I'll take us all out and I'll show you the freaking nest. There's 2 nests.
Yeah.
I mean, I could show you some physical evidence. The trees that I found, the tree that got pushed over. There's a lot of stuff still out there.
You saw another one, or did you see the same ones?
There's 2. I didn't discover the second one until the damn tracks led me to it. So it's the exact same size, diameter, build, everything, except this one had a freaking little girl's blanket, like a baby blanket, made like a pillow, sitting up against the thing. I got pictures of all this. And it had a roof at one point where it had like an overhang over the top where this thing knocked over 2 trees and it made like a hut.
Made a canopy. Yeah. So
yeah. And if you weren't looking for it, you would have just walked right by it. Yeah. You really would not know. But that pink baby blanket, which was kind of freaky. Why the hell does he have some baby's blanket? But maybe he got it
exactly.
from,
He probably
maybe
pulled
he
it from a dumpster or something, maybe.
Well, like I said, the dump is connected, so they, the Milo balloons and all that stuff. I find trinkets they leave near prints and stuff. It's pretty cool. So if you guys ever want to come up this way, or listen, you're on the road, 95, 109 exits right there, northeast. You can stop. There's a truck stop there. I'll meet you there and just run you over there. It'd be cool to show you guys.
That truck stop's
big.
Not even about half hour.
They just had their kerosene in the ground blow up 2 years ago.
Yep.
Their big tank.
Yeah.
We were like, shoot, an earthquake. We were like, no, tank just blew up.
So early on, I didn't get a chance to listen in a whole bunch because I was on the floor working on my computer. But
I gotta go to the bathroom, so I'll be back.
Yeah. You're like you don't have a piss jug. Give me a break.
We'll probably still be here, Ted.
I fucking hope so.
Thanks.
No problem.
You're fired.
I'm the one who created this group. Kiss my ass.
No, you didn't. You take a hike. Bye.
Oh, snap.
Don't start with me.
Hey, I'm telling you.
But yeah, man.
Jeff, got enough of it.
Where do you live at, Gary?
I'm in Harford County, northeast Harford County. Yeah, just across the river from you.
That's awesome.
That's where I am. I'm only like 5 miles from him.
I'll give you another place you might know. I don't know if you've ever been up this way or whatever, but at the very, very end of Main Street in Northeast, there's a lighthouse.
Yeah, I've been down there a couple times, but
yeah, it's Elk Neck State Park.
Yes, yep.
It's the lighthouse. What I'm fooling with is the forest section, which is before that.
Yes.
I mean, it's 12 miles before it. But somebody sent me pictures of the sandbank in that area, right underneath of that lighthouse. And dude, I mean, it looked like a mama Bigfoot just mushing into the sand. And you can see the little one hopping up, hopping down, hopping up, hopping down. Little tiny freaking footprints. I mean, it was the cutest little fat Flintstone foot you ever saw. It was really neat. And I'm trying to think. Oh, it was Austin. The guy who found the 18 inchers in the November frozen ground creek. That was his first find. And I met a guy at my doctor's office when I was going to the doctor in Havre de Grace, but he's in Perryville now. And I forget what. I think I was just BSing. I'm a motor mouth. I'll say hi to anybody and strike up a conversation. Should have been a salesman, I think. But this guy's like, oh, me and my girlfriend, we live. We're technically on the property line of the Aberdeen Proving Ground. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And he's like, wow, that ain't shit. I saw a bear climb up a fence, swing its legs over like a human, hit the ground, stand straight up, and flex and growl at me. And me and my wife just hauled ass out of there. I'm like, hello.
Bears don't climb fences. Bears do not climb fences.
I want to apologize to everybody in chat real quick. Jeff, there's some changes coming, probably, as you can see. So anyway, what do you think? What do you think they are? Yeah. Some people got to grow up. Some people got to grow up. What do you think they are, Mikey? Yeah, see, Mike, I'll just call you Mikey. That's what you're listed as.
Yeah, it stuck because I used to work at a Northeast property in Maryland, and then I got stolen into a brand new property in Newark. So they all called me Mikey, and it stuck. So I'm happy to be called Mikey. My ex-girlfriend's kid will call me Mikey, but
so what do you think they are? I mean, are they flesh and blood? Do you think? Is there something else about them intrigues you?
I think they're living cavemen.
Living cavemen.
I think they're living cavemen. I don't think they ever died out. And you hear people talk about the design of the caveman: big, nocturnal type eyes, serious features, Native American looking almost, because they're so bulged skulls and they're big boned. And I'm like, that's a fucking Bigfoot. So in my opinion, Native Americans talked about them. The earliest settlers in America and other countries talk about the wild man. I just put 2 and 2 together. If it's been seen, it's going to keep being seen unless it's just gone altogether. And I wouldn't see footprints, and you wouldn't have sightings, and stuff wouldn't be thrown at our trucker. So I think they're living cavemen, or they're some kind of ancient race of human. I don't know. But the only thing that I don't think they can phase in and out. But if they can, then I don't know what the hell they are. I mean, I've had ghost encounters. Obviously, a spirit can, like a stone tape theory, where its memories burn into a material, and every so often that image is implanted in our world, and we can experience their being as they were, and they can interact with us like Ghost Adventures and stuff. But I mean, ghosts don't leave footprints unless it's like, dust coming off from their feet. I've had stories, people tell me, local people say, oh my God, this little girl left footprints right in front of me, and I heard that's like, but why would Bigfoot kill deer? I found so many deer carcasses ripped to pieces where the prints stop. I've seen tufts of hair where they cut the weeds all across the trail, where they're leaving footprints and they're dragging the deer behind them to the nest I found. And then they take handprints of hair out of the deer, like they're defluffing this thing and just leaving piles of hair next to it. You see blood spills. I mean, why would you need to do that? Ghosts don't kill people unless it's like trying to get you to kill yourself, or can't say that today, but.
How many dead deer have you found, or like remains of?
12, maybe. There's always a dead deer. It's sort of like you found prints, you didn't look far enough, or I saw the perfect hunt go down as I'm following tracks, and I even took a video on the group, and I'm like, holy crap, I just found a print. And as I'm showing you guys this, like recording, I'm discovering. So I'm like, oh, there's another one. I bet you it's right over here. Oh, there it is. It jumped the creek right here. Okay, let's go see. And as I'm doing that, okay, stop it, upload it. I know in my brain I got to go get my casting material, but I'm just going to follow and see and that's where I found the cliff, the first cliff climb, where it snapped the log, and it must have been hunting it up that way. And maybe this was a second hunt, or there were 2, because then I follow it going to the right, because the track stopped going up, but I'm like, screw it, I'll just follow the bank. And as I'm following the creek bank, I'm going up creek, and the creek's coming towards me, like flowing towards me. So it's like uphill and then goes to a downhill, and it eventually cuts over and it goes to a completely different place. Like it's just like a spring tributary, and deer feed there. It's a perfect corner spot to ambush deer. And I watched this thing like track the deer. Every footprint I saw, and he's cutting the banks and he's following these deer prints. And then it comes to a bank, like I said, where the deer's got to jump 15 feet over a caved in embankment where there's a clay base. And I mean, this thing left so many tracks. The deer left a bunch of frantic tracks. The Bigfoot left a bunch of frantic tracks. And then it's normal tracks. Just the Bigfoot continuing up that tributary. Right. No more deer prints. Right? Yeah, and exactly. I found a crystal arrowhead as well when I looked down at the ground, which was pretty interesting. I kept that. But anyway, so you could see it walk off and then go up this giant cliff with just one foot, like pushed off 1 foot, and you could see this 6-inch impression about that far into the clay, and it was the toes of that big print. And I casted it, but I gave it to the freaking office over here where I live. I thought they would want it. I should get that back.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got so many prints. I just started handing them out. Like, hey man, you're into the subject. Here, take this as a conversation starter. Bring it to work. Whatever. I'm just trying to spread the message. It's interesting. It's a fun subject.
Yes, it is.
It's been a cheap hobby for me because I just got into car audio and I'm freaking over it.
I was into that for a little while years ago.
Yeah, I'm bumping on a budget right now. I just got a amplifier off Marketplace for it's like a $200 amp, but I paid $25 for it, and it works. So I have 2 house subwoofers hooked up in my trunk, and it works. So I'm bumping on a budget.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
You accidentally messaged me while you were going to get subwoofers the other day.
Yeah. That's the guy. Yep.
I agree, David Blaylock. You bet. He's a very good guest, and we definitely gonna have him back on sometime.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have you back. I definitely want to come out there and see that area.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting because it's easy for anybody. Like, I got a slight case of scoliosis, but I've always been an extreme sports athlete. So like, I race dirt bikes and jet skis, and I used to do like behind the boat skiing and wakeboarding and jumping off cliffs. I mean, I was the wild dude that would do anything. And I wanted to be a stuntman. That was my big dream, but I had a kid I found out was on the way. So I said, well, I better be a townie and take care of my boy.
Yeah.
But that was my big. So anyway, this is exciting for me to chase, this subject around, and it's a rush going out there. You never know what you're going to find.
Now, when was the last time you said you found the whole group as far as tracks go?
Well, the latest find with all of them together was 2019. And there's been a long time where I hadn't been going out. So, I probably missed a whole bunch, or I haven't missed much of nothing. Who knows? Because them guys are getting married and, going on vacations and whatever. They got life to do, and they just haven't been able to go out. And we wanted to do a whole group. Like, I invited everybody on the Facebook group. Like, we're going to pick some people, and I'm going to show everybody. Like, I want to hand this place off for everybody to enjoy. And I want them to do the same thing I did with the information I have, so they can experience what I experienced. Because, I mean, what more is there? Like, I had the double sighting. I have a hair sample. I've covered my base in this subject. That's another reason why I haven't been anywhere else to look, because I've never had to. I've been a spoiled rich kid in the suburbs pretty much with this subject. All my goodies are here at home.
Yep.
I got no reason to leave,
Well, I've heard a lot of stories between where you're talking about, and my dad, I told you he grew up over there by Fair Hill.
Yeah.
He said that whole area always gave him the creeps over where you used to go.
100%. That's what all the hunters said. Gives them a creepy feeling.
Yeah.
And it just hits them like a cloud going over the sun, just like weird.
There's a couple of those scout camps over towards the river that I've heard rumors about.
Yeah, they're real close to me. Yeah, very close. We're within a couple miles.
What are scout cams?
There's the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
Cameras?
It's
like camp.
Boy Scout. Boy Scout.
Okay.
Yeah. This Broad Creek Scout Camps, Camp Saffron, Camp Spencer,
on the other
Camp
side of
Oast.
the river, there's a couple of camps over there on your side.
Yeah.
That are supposed to have a lot of. I don't have anything definitive, but I've heard a lot of rumors about it.
Well, what's interesting? One of the first encounters.
Hi, Harley. Go ahead. I'm just saying hi to Harley.
What's up, Harley? Wish I had one of those right now.
I got a question here. Mark Green wants to know if you found any boneyards over there.
Yes, I did, and I've recorded all of it. Yeah, I found, I think, 4 or 5 different boneyard spots. I found some real old bones. I found some just rotting bones. I mean, you name it, I've seen it, and it's always where the prints lead me, or it's always where the previous prints led me. I just know where they're coming. I know where they're going. I know where to look. We found actually 3 nests, not nests, but like a blind. We found actually 2 blinds and one that went. So the guy Austin who let us know about this track line going through the frozen sandbar. So we like we always do. We backtrack, and it led right to this man-made bushy blind that was like 3 feet up. And it went about 6 feet in circumference around this oak tree, where this thing could just hang out like this and just watch over that brush pile. And it looked like the Thunderdome with walls all around it, all sides. I mean, he was down in a ravine watching deer and every animal in that sector merge into this choke point, and he was just tearing into them, and you could see the footprints in the nest, launching out of the nest, going all the way up the creek, and then they would just go off and they would disappear, or they would turn around and come back. I mean, it's too easy to track these things and know what they're doing. It's so obvious. Found a big dead turtle shell once where something just, I mean, that could have been, or it could have been coyotes or something, but it was a good size. Yeah, I thought it was a rock. I'm like, that is the funniest looking rock I ever saw, and it freaking stinks. And I kick it, and it's
Mark. I kick on there. Have you ever found a boneyard?
I just asked him that question.
Yep, that's what I'm explaining now. We found like turtle shells and deer.
Turtle shells, like you ever find cattle or anything like that?
Cattle? No, nothing like that. No.
Like deer and all that stuff.
Just deer. Well, I guess you know what's interesting. I did find a bird of prey that was ripped apart right in the same trajectory of tracks, and that was an interesting find. It was like a hawk, this sizable hawk, and it was still warm and had blood. You know, I walked up on this thing and I'm like looking at this big fluff of feathers, and it looked like something put an M80 in it and just went poof.
Wow.
But I don't know, maybe he just ripped it and he took the good stuff and maybe left early. You could see organs on the ground, like little liver stuff laying there, stomach hanging out. But no dog tracks. Yeah. I didn't even see any Bigfoot impression because it was pretty hard packed rock / clay. But stuff like that all the time. Dead snakes wrapped around trees, like that's weird. And we found twists, the tree twist. If anybody's talked about anecdotal evidence, I found it. I mean, it all adds up. So I found a lot of that stuff, and we try to document it all the time. We found a mylar balloon that still had air in it tied.
Where do you think these mylar balloons are coming from?
Probably the junkyard. I think the little ones are, grabbing them because it's always blue. No matter what mylar balloon, I've never found. Well, we found a silver one that had blue writing, but it's always blue. I'm like,
the little ones like blue for some reason.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And that coffee cup, and there was an old brick laying out there, like an old masonry brick, and there were these round rocks that looked like Bigfoot toes. And I put it in such a way where the rocks look like Bigfoot toes, and then the rest of the rock looked like the heel. And I sort of left that there where they were intersecting and coming in and out. And every now and again, they would move them around, or something would move them around. And I always thought that was like a little thing I had, but who knows? That that could have been high flash floods in that knocking them around. But one interesting thing that I did was I baited the nest where I found the hair and everything. Also, we found a flat rock and a round rock with all chips all in it, where this thing's busting up nuts right behind this oak tree at the nest. I mean, why would that be there? I have all that. I have pictures of all that stuff. I mean, it's pretty good stuff. And it's like exactly the same direction from the walk. This is like a main walking trail, but you're like 100 feet back where something could just chill in that nest where it's got leaves and sticks and just watch people all day. It's just like the best MTV a Bigfoot could ask for. Both sides, equal length away from the trail, designed exactly the same. I mean, I just
can't get over that they're in there.
It's so tight. It's such a small area. Because there's an RV park
going on around there.
Yes,
there's
an RV.
Where you're talking about.
Yeah, there's an RV park there, correct? Yeah, we've always wanted to stay over there, but we never have. But
because
they got the cabin.
My dad always said that area, there was something about that area.
Now you know. Yep, I've seen them.
You have a time of year that's more active. Have you noticed over there?
Soon as it thaws.
As soon as it thaws. Okay.
I like the first 3 weeks. They're freaking just like, I don't know if they're beefing up after hibernation or what, I don't even know if they do hibernate, but I know they move around because you don't see hardly nothing in the wintertime. I've never found a foot. I haven't seen any tracks in the winter besides, um, not like January or, but like, when was it? November? It was pretty cold, but it wasn't iced over yet. That's when this guy Austin found that trackway and all that. But yeah, it's early spring, and I always look when it rains. Even if it's raining, I'll go out there because you're going to find a ton more puddles. And if they're walking, I've even had my buddy JP not tell me he was camping there with his wife. I didn't know he was there, and he got there maybe the day before. He had spent the night. His wife told him about this freaky Bigfoot dream she had, and knocks on the cabin and whatever. And then he went to check out our main area where I find all this stuff, and he found some stuff, but there was nothing in this area when he checked. So he parked his car. He went to do his rounds like I do. He said he didn't see anything, but when I went there, and I'm like, oh no shit, that looks like JP's car, and I just start my rounds, I see so many tracks, 3 different size tracks, and it was the 12-inch, the 16, and the 18, all walking together. I called JP, hey man, is this your car? He's like, yeah, that's my car. Are you here? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. When'd you get here? He's like, oh, I parked there about an hour ago and started walking 30 minutes ago. I'm like, did you see anything? He's like, no, I checked. So think about that time frame. You know what I mean? He didn't see anything, and it was like, you could still see water filling up these footprints. I just missed them, or he just missed them, or they were following him. But that to me said it. I mean, that was like my first big. He didn't see anything, but I just did. Like, it was in between. I mean, that's verified. There was nothing there, and now there is. It's pretty cool. We casted. It took us about 5 hours to cast all those prints, and it went all the way through the park. I mean, we followed these tracks all the way through the park. It was crazy. I think we went to Walmart 3 times and blew all our money on the Paris stuff.
Plaster of Paris, yeah.
We went. I think the season was Easter, so we had to buy these pink Easter buckets to mix.
Right.
Hey, it worked.
All the plaster of Paris in the store.
Right.
Yeah.
We bought them out. I had the guy running into the back, like, give me 4 boxes,
Wow.
I still have 2 boxes in the car. I just keep it in the car all the time because you never know. And that's how I get so much stuff. Just be prepared and always be looking,
Excellent. Well, I hate to cut everybody short, but we're going to get out of here. I got some things to go do, and that's all. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That clump of hair that's on that, you could definitely see it.
If you get a line on some honest testers, I'd love to jump in.
What's that now?
Well, we're definitely going to have you back on, and we're
yeah.
hook up with you soon so we can.
I got some crazy. Like, I was into the paranormal for about 5 years too. Before the Bigfoot thing, I got some weird stuff about that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'd love to have you back. We'll definitely schedule here soon.
If you can find some of those pictures, I'm definitely.
Well, listen, if you could you upload them if I sent them to you?
Yeah,
they're all available on the Cecil County Sasquatch page too.
Yeah, yeah, I can go and get them. I can. You tell me where they're.
Yeah,
I'll go retrieve them.
Are you in the group?
Yeah,
private group. Okay. Yeah. I'm keeping it private because you get a lot of yahoos.
Right.
A lot of a-hole snitchers. You can't trust everybody.
Yeah.
Or you'll get some hot chick named Steve wanting to send you nudes, and then you click on a link, and then you lose your profile.
Oh yeah.
I'm not that good looking.
Sounds like a good time to me.
But anyway, yeah, we'll definitely have you on here real soon. We're gonna go ahead and call it an evening here, and I guess we'll be back next Tuesday.
Yeah, if you want to pull me back on, I'd be happy to jump in.
Yeah,
if you definitely want to hear about the cryptid stuff for sure.
I won't hijack at that time, but if you want me to, I will.
Okay.
Well, we'll definitely
chatterbox with no off switch. So whatever you guys need.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, everybody, and again, we'll be back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. So keep it in mind. Now, I don't know if you're available, Mikey, maybe we'll have you back again. We'll see what happens. But
Hey, man, I'll be
It's fine with
willing
me.
and ready.
10-4. Okay. With that said, we'll see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m.
See it.
Be nice to truckers.
Be nice to truckers. Yeah, we try.
Or
We're
you won't
people too.
up. Yeah, you're people too.
All right.
We're people too.
See
See
ya.
ya.
See ya.
See it.